Riders ready, watch the gate.
That I was early if you consider EC time.
You're really early. Are you kidding me?
Dude, that's like military early.
He was
I'm
2800.
I'm not only early, dude. Look at that.
Wow, that what is that? Looks like lasagna with a salad.
That's right.
Dude, that's a did you get Olive Garden to go or what happened?
Dude, I showed up and Mama had me set up already, bro.
Wow.
So I'm sorry, guys, but I'm gonna eat while we talk.
No.
Oh, shocker.
Uh-huh.
Is that Did you get garlic bread with that?
I did, dude. Look at the butter.
Jesus, you got the whole thing, man.
Oh man.
That's like the whole meal. You got every corner of that.
I got it all, bro. I know.
All the food groups represented right there.
It's amazing.
I know.
Good for you.
Good for you, kid.
That's right.
It's fantastic.
Lucky,
yeah.
I eat well. My wife takes good care of us.
It's very good.
Well,
how about this one?
What do we got?
All right.
Well, when we were talking to Cowboy a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but afterwards we got on the subject of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It was a pretty interesting subject, and we got going pretty good. So I stopped it and told you guys to hang on because I thought it was a pretty, we started going down a pretty good path, and the difference in the way we see things as far as stuff that should be in the Hall of Fame, who should be in the Hall of Fame, what does it mean to have your stuff in the Hall of Fame, and it was a pretty good start of one, and I wanted to make sure that we covered that because I think there's a lot of people that don't know about the BMX Hall of Fame or don't know exactly what it is or how you get in there. And I mean, honestly, I don't know the process of what happens to get in there.
I happen to have it up.
No way.
I swear to God, I was looking at it right before we got on because I'm like, I wonder if I know what the process is to get in.
Well, I've said it before a million times. Let me say it again. Tell him, JV.
All right. You ready to hear the whole thing?
Yeah.
The nominating process. Each year, the National BMX Hall of Fame Committee requests nominations from the public and BMX community. Anyone can nominate someone for the BMX Hall of Fame. Nomination forms are accepted from October to January, and all entrants are considered. The Hall of Fame Committee will narrow down the nominees to the top 5, who are then voted on by over 500 voters, made up of current Hall of Famers, BMX media and industry, and vintage BMX experts and historians. The criteria. When considering all Hall of Fame nominations, the selection committee looks for inductees who have made a serious impact in the sport of BMX, whether it be through performance and accomplishments or outside of competition. Nominees in the freestyle, pioneer, women, and racer categories are required to be inactive from professional competition for at least 5 years or be over the age of 40. Nominees in the industry category may still be active in the BMX industry. All nominees should have made a direct impact to the sport of BMX in some of the following ways: helped change the direction of the sport of BMX and left their mark in a positive manner, influential and recognized figure in the sport of BMX, took the sport of BMX to a higher level of achievement or competition, earned achievements such as national or world titles and championships popularity awards, media attention, brand advertising, and endorsement of BMX products, team sponsorships, and other competitive contributions. And then it writes here, on a personal level, an individual should display attributes such as leadership, sportsmanship, character, and integrity. But that's not a requirement. That's a personal little point in there.
I wish we were. I wish we were on gallery view, JV. You were reading what it was to me, and I was going, "Yeah, no, yeah,
yeah.
no." I don't think I made it. I don't think I make it.
No.
Yeah, no way.
What?
No way do I make it in there. Listen, I'll tell you, except for maybe the advertising part. There wasn't a comedy relief in there. Well, listen, I'll tell you what. In reading that, so what I understand, and you
Yeah.
guys tell me if I understand this in layman's terms and working man's terms, anybody can be nominated. Anybody can
Anyone
nominate,
can be nominated.
Anyone can nominate anybody.
That's correct.
Then it goes to a committee.
That's right.
I don't know who
goes
the
to-
committee is, but anyone can be on whoever's this committee.
Yep.
Then the committee narrows it down to 5. And then,
yeah.
is that right? They get that right so far? They
They
narrow
narrow
it
it down to the
5.
top 5. Correct.
Uh-huh.
Top 5.
And then they put it back out to the special group, if you will, of Hall of Famers, industry people, somebody's cousin or whatever. And then that's who votes on it.
That's right.
And that's who gets in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And that's how people are in the Hall of
Now,
Fame.
wait,
yeah.
wasn't there something though? Like if you, is there something like if you don't get, if you're in the top 5, but you
Mhm.
don't, the top 2 go in, and
You're
then
like automatically in the next year in the vote in the thing. Is that what
Eric
you're
wants to talk, but he's got his mouth full. And
That's right. I'm too busy.
Tell-
The top 2 that don't make, like, if the top 2 that don't get in,
Yeah.
automatically nominated for the next year.
Automatically in the
Oh.
top 5.
Yes.
uh-huh.
You're automatically in the top 5 for the next year.
And each category is a little, I know it's changed a little bit. It used to be only 3 people got back in my day, way back. Hey, listen here, youngins, way back in the olden days,
Right?
only 3 people got in. It was two racers and 1 industry.
Well, you're darn right, because in 1992 only 3 people got in.
Yeah.
That's your class, Mike.
All right.
Yep.
But
I remember who I went in with.
They didn't have to change it, but they didn't really have to change it, but as time goes on, I think they created the pioneer class, the pioneer category, all these other categories, because at some point these people are going to get forgotten. Right. And they're not going to get nominated. They're not going to get voted in. So I think that was part of the reason why they created those other classes as well.
Well,
Oh, I see.
you see how I did that?
I see somebody coming in.
Yeah. Well, speaking of pioneers and how who gets in, how they get in, who is who, we have a
who's who.
We have a who's who
Yeah.
pioneer.
Yeah, we
Pioneer chicken in here.
do. Pioneer chicken.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
Class of 1991.
he
Hall of
was
Fame.
class of 91.
Yep.
Oh,
Look at this
there
guy.
he is.
That's the guy
Go
right
boys.
there.
Yeah.
That is the guy.
Our
I need my
first.
honorary knob hat.
Yes, right. The honorary dirty knob, Perry PK Ripper Kramer. He, it seems like PK, when you and I talk, we've got on the subject a couple of times about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And and Perry, I love that he has an opinion about it. I love that it matters to him and he has an opinion about it. And we start talking about who, really what is the difference between, what was it before, Perry? It was early bird special, or what was the name of the
Early bird special. Well, the early days, it was just two racers and one industry guy, right?
Yeah.
And then as time went on, probably after the 90s, then they started to say, okay, now there's different, eras of racers. So it was Pioneer, and then it was Racer.
Yep.
And now the Pioneer has turned into Early Racer. So I
Okay.
think what USA BMX is trying to do is stretch it out, because Pioneers was basically anything in the 70s. Like you and I talked, Mike, you had to have raced some nationals racing on a coaster brake to be able to be eligible for the Pioneer class.
I like that actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a pretty easy standard to remember. You don't need to know your stats. Just, did you have a coaster brake? No. You're out.
You're out.
Yeah.
You're out.
Did you ever race with a rubber band around your leg? You're out. If you ever raced where they started with a rubber band or a flag, then you're in.
Or in my case, a flashlight.
What?
Yeah, the first track I raced at was Palms Park. It was a park track. They didn't have a flag. He didn't have a rubber band. The guy just held a flashlight. It was like, drag races. He held it down, and all of a sudden he shined it. He goes, "Okay, don't jump the gate up. Peel out, peel out."
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Back in my day.
Wow.
Hey, so Perry, when you've been involved in the Hall of Fame, correct? On the, what do they call it, JV?
Committee?
The committee.
Yeah.
And what, from your perspective, what are you looking for? What how does it work from your point of view?
Well, I mean, so I'll give you kind of the rundown, because always when the Hall of Fame time comes and goes, and then they first introduce who's on the ballot, and then especially when they introduce who made it in, you hear all kinds of shit from everybody. Oh, it's rigged. It's a bunch of crap. You guys got your head up your ass. You guys don't. You're just playing favorites, and in most cases that's not the case. I mean. So basically there's the different committees. I think you have the early racer, you have the racer committee, you have early freestyler, modern day freestyler, industry class, and a female class. So there's 6 different divisions. I don't think I left anything out there. And each one has its own committee, and it's anywhere between 5. Like, we started off with 5 guys. I think it was Byron, Dennis Dane, Eddie, Cash Matthews.
Well, hold on. Byron Friday, but not everyone will know. Yeah, Byron Friday.
Yeah, Byron Friday, Dennis Dane, Cash Matthews, Eddy King, and myself. And then we brought Greg Esser on. I think they wanted to bring on, somebody else who wasn't a West Coast, California guy, right? Because all we got was accused of being the California Hall of Fame, but so Greg Esser came on.
Makes sense.
He doesn't always show up. He comes on, every now and then, but he does. He's been there most of the time.
Does it ever get contentious? I mean, do you ever go?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It gets very. Oh, I see why you're bringing this on, because here's the main point of contention. This guy right here.
Hollywood. You know how Hollywood stacks the deck, bro.
I am just. Here's my move. Here's my move right here. This is my move right here, stirring it up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I had heard from both of you at separate times over the past like 2 or 3 years about, you both have great, this is what I love about it. You guys have a great argument, meaning that you have a great point of view, well thought out, you articulate it, and it's from opposite ends, but it's a great argument. and you know,
Is there a
this-
specific point of view, or is
Oh,
it just
yeah.
a point of view? Okay.
yeah. Let-
So there
let's
is
wait-
Your
a.
point of view is I'm right.
That's right. Dude, I didn't know we had Greg Hill on here. Hey, listen.
Hey, listen, butthead.
I told him, get out there and handle your business.
Listen, butthead. This is what you got to do.
You race, you vote, you're in, you're done. Butthead.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
He's such a I mean, Greg, if you ever have a chance to hire him as a motivational speaker, it's 90 seconds and you're done.
Yeah,
man. That's
that's
awesome. Yeah. Hey, get in there, do it, get it done, butthead. Out. God bless him. Well, we're waiting for our friend Eddy King to get on here. I'll just say it, PK's nemesis when it comes to the Hall of Fame.
Oh my goodness.
I'm in.
There you can't see you
Where's your
though,
camera?
Eddie.
Put your camera on.
We're
Yeah,
I know he's still trying to figure it out, so
Safe driving.
Are you driving?
No.
Okay, so bottom left-hand corner says it'll say video, start video.
No, it doesn't say.
Oh, you just muted yourself.
Yep, yeah, it's next to that one. The one that you hit says mute that you just hit. It's next to that one.
Okay, there's
that's the
done.
button. That's a button I always try to hit when Eddie's giving his point about the Hall of Fame in our committee. I try to hit that mute button for him, but it doesn't work from my end. I don't know what's going on there. I'm gonna have to.
How's
get a new
that?
computer.
No?
All right. There you
Hey,
Part that says
Yeah.
video. Woo!
Jesus. All
no
right, let me
sneaking
find
any
all
technology
these.
by my boy.
That's right.
You gotta
Hey,
get up
so
really early in the morning.
We've been talking about the Hall of Fame and how you get in. JV was kind enough to read us how you get in and make how we understand how it works, and then the committee, and then we were talking about the categories, Eddie. And
Yeah.
since we started with pioneers, we had the main pioneer on here, and then we brought in the next level, which is you. And I understand, I've heard tell from both of you that it can get you guys can argue. It gets not heated, but it gets going pretty good.
It gets respectful. We have
It's a s-
different ideas, I think.
So let me ask you, since we're just talking about the BMX racing part of it, what do you guys think? What do you see as the ideas that you pass back and forth about? What is a early racer, and what is what's it based on?
Early races is a little combination of everything. It's obviously magazine print, longevity, wins, and popularity. I think would be a lot of the categories right there. Then you kind of just mold them all in together, and some things mean a little more than other things. Pro career, sometimes means more to other people than it does to someone else, or magazine coverage, or longevity.
Do you
Most
have
early
to have been a
pioneer-
pro?
And when
no,
what years
obviously-
it was.
Hold on, one at a time now. Question: what was your question, JV?
Would you have to have been a pro?
No.
No,
Okay.
no, because you know what, the voters have proven that
Yeah.
you don't have to be a pro on there. You look at Jason Jensen, you look at I think Tracer Finn raced a little bit. You look at Doug Davis,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to remember this category that we're talking about used to be called Pioneer, and now it's called Early Racer.
And they did all that without even talking to the committee. They just changed it. USA
That's
BMX. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, hey guys, what do you think about this? Checking with the committee. It just happened, and because realistically now you could have 3 different male racer categories. You still could have pioneer because you still have a good 10 to 12 guys probably deserving to get into, some more than others, and then you have all the 80s, especially the 80s and the later 80s guys transferring even into the early 90s. And then you have those 90s guys that all through the 2010. I mean, it's 2024 right now.
Yeah.
So, I get it when they're trying to expand it out. But Eddy's big argument is that it needs to be good for the presentation when you do the Hall of Fame, when they give those, they're talking about whoever's going in, let's say Andy Patterson, and you got the guy that sounds like Morgan Freeman, telling his story about Andy Patterson started at Bell Gardens in 1978, whatever. You have that. Well, if you have some of these early racers like a Jimmy Watson or a Brian Ramazinski or a Mark Wagner, all guys that are very deserving, of it, that got either out of it before it got real popular or whatever like that. There just wasn't the amount of big races where you could put together like a huge list of wins or a list of accomplishments. So that's, and I get it, where Eddy talks about that, but I think if you start putting just too many guys from the 80s and later, because of the way that USA BMX lets people vote, which I believe there is a lot of unqualified people that vote in the pioneer category, or probably vote in all categories, because you can't know everything about the pioneers and the racers and the industry guys and every level of freestyle. You just can't know all that. So I think it should be some type of weighted category, or you should at least be qualified to vote in there. Oh, look at that. You guys just knocked me out right there. See,
that was Eddy.
Eddy did that to you. Eddy did
that. Eddy had USA BMX do it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, gOrk, when he's freaking hacking me in here. So anyhow, so just to finish that point, I don't necessarily believe it's just for the night of the presentation as to who should get into the Hall of Fame. I think if you are a deserving rider for the Hall of Fame, you should have a shot at it, no matter, what your introduction video is going to be.
Well, I think that's part of it. I mean, that might not be one of my top 3 causes on there. But the other thing I look at is, okay, you take the top 2 guys or whatever, that were the vote getters from the year before, they go automatically in. Then you're supposed to pick the next 5. And the way I look at it is you pick the top 5 people who got the best chances of that will beat the following 2 they get put in automatically. Because I look at it as the voters are going to vote, and they're going to look at everything. And it is a popularity contest to some degree. Not everybody has the knowledge of the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2010s. I mean, I was pretty much out of it for almost 15 years. So I don't know anything about what they call mid school, guys from like early 90s on to 2004 or 6, when they started preparing for the Olympics. Then I got a little more knowledge.
Yeah. Okay. However, if you use that logic right there, Eddy, what happens is you're just putting guys that are going to be able to beat, these old guys like a Jimmy Watson or a Brian Ramazinski or even a Bobby Woods, and he went on into the 80s as a racer. But if you just put people on there that could beat him, it's probably going to happen, because you got a bunch of people that don't really know the overall history of our sport, and they just vote for who they know.
I get your point. They just keep getting kind of smothered, pushed down. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
in the last 10 years, and I don't want to name any names, but if you look in the last 10 or 15 years, there's guys on there that got on strictly because people knew them and they didn't know everybody else. And in some cases they had people, inside, looking out for them. And that's just what happens, because, that mid 80s time was huge. you know,
Hey,
for
it
BMX.
costs me a lot of rolls of nickels to get in there.
Well, exactly
Man,
right.
let me tell you how tired my hands were.
You know, but like, so to Eddie's point, you see this
Oh,
figure that
see,
I
here
have
he
right
goes. Here he goes.
there? You see that?
Yeah.
There's so there's last year, you know, this was for 2023. So there's Stanley, Bobby Woods, and Rod Beckering. Those were the three. That was second, third, and fourth from the year before. They automatically make it on. There's 8 people that get onto the ballot, right? So from this list, which there's 53 guys on this list, you know, some are deserving. I know I see Eric over. He's trying to look, right? He's trying.
I'm trying to look.
You know, I mean, you know, there's guys that are on there. So our job, you know, how we do it, you know, our committee is basically we have to pick 5 more. So what we do, or what we have done in the last few years, is we pick 7. Like I have to pick 7. I have to wait them out. Like Jimmy Watson was my number 1. Brian Ramazinski was Matt Harris was number 2. Ramazinski was number 3. You know, I put them. I weighed them down. Eddie has his. Byron has his. Dennis Dane has his. Cash has his. You know, I mean, you know, then we look at them. We have them weighted, and then we kind of figure out, okay, these guys are on for sure. And it's those next 4 guys we fight like freaking cats and dogs, you know, figuring out who's going to be on there. And let me tell you, that's fighting over 5 guys. Well, there's 48 other guys that are not going to make it on here, you know. And
Right.
I mean, there's some ones that are on there that are like freaking ridiculous, you know. However, you know, there's other ones on there. Oh shit! And here's a guy that had to listen to. Man, this pot is just getting worse and bigger and bigger and bigger.
I am stirring the pot, baby.
You are a pot stirrer, man. I mean, every time I see another thing come up, you know.
Good.
But it's, you know, so there's guys that you have to get out here, and then as soon as it goes out there, as soon as the list goes out with 8 guys on there, all of a sudden the first basher list gets on there. I can't believe you didn't put this guy on. This guy's not on. That guy's not on. That guy's not on. You know, everybody has their favorites. Everybody's regional. You know, everybody has that. We try to be as fair as possible, but some people can be more persuasive in our committee than others. You know?
Eddie.
No, that's not me.
So are there different?
I'm the black sheep of that committee, or was.
Well, let me tell you, it takes it just, you know, I know it must take a lot of time and effort, and you're talking to friends, and so you're arguing with your friends. It's got to be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
Well, you should hear Perry talk about you when you're not there then.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we brought the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who was really responsible for it all here, our friend Craig Barrette. Come on, gOrk.
Hey,
So before you say anything, gOrk, let me just say that view behind you is awesome.
it's awesome.
But
Yeah.
it looks like there's missing one thing.
yeah, it is. It's missing. There's a couple jerseys missing up here. One in
Hold on. Let me just stand up so you guys can kick me in the nuts.
You don't have a
Oh.
jersey up there, Eric?
I don't have a jersey up.
We'll get to that one later. That's another.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic we're gonna make sure we talk about.
Yeah.
He's still washing it.
Yeah.
No, wait. Just
get it
on
away from your sons,
before,
right?
but
Is that the deal?
What's that?
You can't get it away from your sons? Like,
Yeah, my youngest son is he's a I mean, it makes me feel good. He's like a super fan of mine and my history. And so he collects all of my old stuff. He's gone through my mom's garage, our garage. He's found all the stuff. He the other day he found a bin of my old mountain bike stuff that I had stashed up in a rafter. He's going to school with my like podium hats and stuff. So yeah, he's like a real big super fan. And I mean, he actually goes online and looks for stuff of mine that's being sold and tries to like get that stuff from people. So yeah, he has all that stuff right now. I've asked him about it and he's like, I don't know, Dad. I think he worries about it like he's never gonna see it again. So
Tell him he can come here for the rest of his life and see it here.
that's right.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
Or he can come over to my house and see me cleaning chains with your jersey.
That's right.
There is that.
Hey,
Well, before we get going on to the stuff that's in the Hall of Fame, I want to circle back and finish out what gOrk. JV explained to us what it is to be able to get in, what it takes, and how the process works. And from your perspective, gOrk, what do you see as the most important things that the committee should be looking for?
wait, can I just before we go to that, are there different committees for the different categories?
Yeah. Each category has their own committee. Although
Okay.
this year we're splitting up the freestyle committees, but previously, up until now, freestyle committee has done the modern and the retro. All the freestyle all together. But we're gonna break that up this year, and we're gonna be adding to the committees as well. But yeah, every committee has their own group, and in last few years it's been maybe 6 or 7 guys in each of the committees. We're gonna expand those and we'll probably have about 10 people in each committee coming up.
More people for
Okay.
Eddie to argue with.
That's right.
I love to argue.
Dude, I love it.
But you know what? I like it though, because from what we talked about in previous podcasts, it's a select group, right? This Hall of Fame group, not everyone can be there, and it's important that you guys are very selective as to who gets into this thing.
Yeah, the people that we choose for each committee, we try to get the guys, they know their stuff, so
Yeah.
certain qualified, knowledgeable experts, or the guys who are there actually, know the history, like PK was. I caught that right when I came on, PK talking about, his guys, that he's always cheering on and rooting for, and trying to push into the Hall of Fame. So, and then Eddie has his, so every person has their favorites.
Right. We're human, so they're good. I mean, of course, you're going to have favorites.
Yeah, it's just like any other sports Hall of Fame,
Right.
I mean,
but that's why you do it by committee, right? That's why it's by committee, right? So that one person can't just pick all their favorites.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I would say it's more than just personal favorites, although personal favorites absolutely do come into the fold, but I just remember, like, in those early, the very early days, like Brian Ramazinski, I mean, maybe Scott beat him every now and then, maybe JP beat him, maybe John George, but he won way more than he ever lost. He's the only guy that I remember, at least in my era, that there was a bounty on him. Anybody that could beat him got like $10, which was big back then. Or Jimmy Watson, watching him come on the scene, and nobody mixed it up with Dave Clinton or John George, but Jimmy Watson did, but he was in it and he was gone, so I understand, Toby actually got that point across to me when I was pushing hard for guys to vote for Johnny Palferman, because I told all you guys, my story, I got in 20 years or so before Johnny Palferman ever did. I was ashamed about it, because Johnny Palferman was like the guy, right? In Santa Monica, in early BMX, and when I talked to Toby, and Toby says, listen, Toby was voting for Dennis Dane, and he said, look at what he did throughout his whole career, not just for a short period of time. So, that there's every now and then some shit gets, through the hard head, and Eddie actually has got some points across to me too. He said it's not the Pro Hall of Fame, and it's not the Hall of Accomplishments. It is the Hall of Fame.
Great point, Eddie. Great point, Eddie.
It says that. it says that in the the list of things that need to be considered, right? I think one of the first things it says is the impact that you had on the sport, right?
Yep.
So,
Inductees who have made a serious impact of the sport of BMX,
right,
whether it be through performance and accomplishments or outside of competition.
right. I think that is should. I mean, for me, that's almost the number one thing that I would consider.
Not
Above
me.
everything else, I would consider that. Yeah.
Not me. I did make a lot of impact on the track when I fell, but that's it. You know,
No.
I don't, you know, when I look at the names of the people that are in there, PK, I gotta be honest with you. I feel the same way like you did about Palfreyman. When I see some of the names that are in there that come in after me, I was like, oh man, I feel bad. I
Yeah,
feel
but
bad.
That's human nature, right? Like that's how you think about when you get nominated for things like that. I won't say everybody, but a lot of people are humble. And so they think, well, man, why me instead of this person? But when you consider your impact on the sport, Hollywood, I mean, think about the crowds that you.
No.
Yeah. Look at this guy.
Anyway,
See?
what I do think about it is
Yeah.
like PK just explained it, using Eddie's theory, it's the Hall of Fame. What makes you famous? What makes you famous? And there are some jokers on there that are famous. I should say there's a couple names on there that are infamous.
That's right.
I'm with you guys too. You know, I mean, I feel like, there's so many industry guys that should have gone in before me, so, I can totally understand there.
Yeah, but it's crazy, right? Like you could go down the line. Like you could say for you, gOrk, I mean, think about you pretty much from the time you were at BMX Action, even before that, but from BMX Action on, man, dude, you were the portal for being in the magazines. If you were a factory rider, like it was all through you, right? Like you impacted so many careers. You managed the BMX Action, which was it's the Bible of our sport, it's been called that. You were in control of that, right? So like you impacted the sport in such a way, man, creating an image for our sport with the editorial stuff you did, the pictures, all that stuff. And then the historian part of it, man, like, dude, look how much stuff, like you're doing this Hall of Fame thing and how passionate you are about it, man. So your impact on our sport, absolutely. I feel it's a deserving spot for you.
For sure. I'd say it a little different. gOrk, you really transitioned our sport.
Right.
Because you came in so early back from the freestyle scene, right? From the NorCal scene to coming into Southern California, which was, the enemy, if you will. And then you transitioned it from really the bicycle motocross action, the beginning of BMXA, through the change at the big boom in freestyle, the change in dirt jumping, how that became popular, and how the bikes and uniforms and everything else really transitioned through the midpoint with you at the helm.
Yeah.
And so you steered that ship.
Like guys like Howie Cohen or Sandy Finkelman, these guys who are no longer with us, they seem to, all get overlooked or whatever. I believe that they should have been in before, me or Chris Moeller or any of, the new school guys.
Yeah.
That's everybody's.
There's a good argument to be made. And I guess that's what Eddie and PK really do, is they just argue about it. And but that's what it takes.
But that's a committee, right?
That's what a committee does. Yeah,
right, that's the committee.
And like JV and I argue.
Like last year when Stanley Robinson finally got in, he'd been runner up for years, or in the podium for the last probably 4 or 5 years, or when Frank Post got in, all those guys,
crazy
were, when am I going to get in? Like PK said, whenever they announce the winners, then it's like, oh, why shouldn't, why is not this guy in and all that.
Oh, I mean, you see it, gOrk. I mean, as soon as it comes up and then I see people, put, well, why isn't this guy on there like Jeff Schofield? or something like that. A popular rider was in ads right next to Greg Hill, all this kind of stuff. I mean, he was very popular, but he's not in there. Maybe he deserves to be in. I mean, who knows? Definitely accomplished rider. But the bottom line is, you only take one person out of a category a year.
Yeah.
And basically, the Hall of Fame got kind of screwed out of inductees for a year or two with COVID. Realistically, they probably should have looked at it and said, okay, now we're going to double up, because it wasn't like those years got erased. It's just nobody could get together. So now people didn't get in there. So and I get it from a business point of view. It's like when a rider gets inducted in the Hall of Fame, you have to pay for him and or her and their partner with them. You give them two, tickets to get into the thing. It's expensive. To do that, to double up on it. I mean, I asked gOrk, I said, well, how much does this thing make, or does it make anything? And he just chuckled, man. He said, yeah, like, how much do you lose every year?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is try to break even or come closest to it, but yeah, it's definitely not a profit.
You never break even,
Is it-
do you?
Is it open bar?
Yeah, it's open bar.
Oh no, yeah, that's a losing problem. That's a
No,
losing
no,
problem.
Although
get
now we have
excited.
drink tickets. I think
Yeah.
the drink tickets we
JV, remind me to go to Staples before we go over there. Buy a roll of them things.
I think the point, Perry, that you brought up is actually pretty, to me, I'm just trying to figure that out in my brain. This kind of like, the I think it was the two that are left over that didn't get in, go automatically into the three of them automatically go into the next year. And then Eddy, to your point of like, there's always better people possibly on the list. And then these three could get pushed down and they can get lost in the shuffle almost if they don't get nominated by other people, right? They could just keep getting lower and lower, like not thought of anymore. So that it is possible that there could be somebody that is deserving that just, gets overshadowed because I guess
tough,
new people.
man. I mean, it's tough, but it's like, yeah, it's tough to think about that way because there are people that start to get shuffled back, but man, you have to vote for based on all the qualifications that are outlined, who's the best person on that ballot. That's how it has to be. So
then that brings the question of, because now we're talking about bringing on guys that were super popular when they were 10 and 11. Like I mentioned, Jeff Schofield. I'm not sure what time he got out. He was racing mountain bikes with you, EC.
Right.
And he was a ripper on a mountain bike. I remember in the 90s going out there, and he was out there and hanging out with him. And so like that. But he got out of BMX. But my point, and again, this is just my point. This is my hang up. I always think that they needed to at least have done something in the pro class, because that's basically the ultimate, right? And the reason I think that is not just because I was a pro or Mike was a pro or you were, or all of us that are in there on this thing were a pro. Right. You look at some of these riders. You can have a 10-year-old that's like 5'5" and he kicks the crap out of everybody, right? And he was super strong, and he
rode for Diamondback.
Or I'm not pointing out anybody in particular. Hell, my teammate Rod Beckering, when he was 13 years old, he was an inch taller than me. And he was.
Yeah, but how tall are you, PK?
Well, at that time I was like 5'9". I mean, I got this thing on my back now. Yes, I'm 5'7" now. But I mean,
he's 5'7" with golf cleats on.
Yeah. But, hey, you know what I think, PK, on that? I think that should be the tiebreaker, right? I think if you accomplished your accomplishments as a pro, then and you guys are having a tug of war over an amateur and a pro, I think if you accomplish the things that you accomplished as a pro, I think that's the tiebreaker.
Okay, then that brings up, Is it Hall of Accomplishments or is it Hall of Fame?
Or
Well-
Hall of Pro.
Well,
Or
yeah.
Pro Hall of Fame? So
When I say accomplishments, PK, I don't mean specific race results, right? Like I don't say that the accomplishments have to be based on your accomplishments are the impact that you had on the sport, right? Did you bring more people to the sport? Did you grow the sport? Did you inspire people, right? And if you did that as a pro versus doing it as an amateur, and there's a tug of war between those two, whoever those two riders are, I think the pro should get the nod.
Exactly, and me too. But what the heck is
That's Eddy again.
Get him, Eddie.
Eddie? why
Get
are
him,
you
Eddie.
keep
He's
doing
talking
this?
bad about Diamondback.
He is.
He's talking bad about Diamondback. Get him.
PK the hook. But I mean, so basically, just this conversation right here, you get the idea of what it's like just to go through the committees.
Yeah.
And our committee is just one committee. There's just like, gOrk said, you have 6 different categories. They all have a committee. There's nothing that we get from USA BMX that says, here's how your committee has to do it.
Yeah.
It basically says, hey, listen, here's your list of nominees. Here's the 3 guys that are already on there. Give us 5 more. And we figure it out ourselves.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and do that, and now you start looking at, there's guys and there's guys on that list that are no longer with us, Bob Hunt, Rod Beckering, Mark Wagner, there's definitely other people on there. The good thing is now I don't know how many states have it, but you have this Texas Hall of Fame, you have the Georgia Hall of Fame, I think New Jersey maybe does.
That's right.
They're trying to start it.
They're
Yeah.
starting one up.
Yeah, I talked with Jenny. I said,
Florida's coming up with one.
They should do in Indiana. There's so many different states that were so big. Colorado's another one. It was huge, for BMX. Washington State. There's all these different states that have these guys, early guys. I mean, you look at it like this list right on here. Who's not on this list is Bart McDaniel. And that's a guy who was super fast. I guess he could qualify as an early racer, was definitely a pioneer in his thing. Maybe he just wasn't on there just because nobody nominated him. That's another thing what has to happen. The guy has to get nominated, So it's really tough to pick it. And, everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people accuse us of being the California BMX Hall of Fame, and in some cases, I guess they're probably right in a way, but I mean, it's pretty much, even though BMX was a lot of places in the early days, all the major racing started in California, some of it in Florida, So, I mean, it's easy to say. I mean, I won a world championship pro class in 1979 and there was 8 guys from California on the gate. So I mean, it's not that way now, but I mean, that's just the way that it was early. So,
All right, let me switch it up now. Perry, what PK Ripper? What do you have? Do you have a PK Ripper in the Hall of Fame? What do you have of your stuff representing Perry Kramer in the Hall of Fame?
Good. The only thing I have is I have a jersey.
Jersey. Where's that? Right over there.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, I say.
Yeah.
Right there, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. Yeah.
So I have a jersey, and then I don't know if it's in there, but I remember giving just an SE, a very limited edition SE Oakley PK Ripper hat. And I think I can give it to you, gOrk. I mean, I think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think we had that in the glass case for a while. We keep swapping out stuff and items in the glass cases.
There's some homeless guy in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now is bumping around at a truck stop.
It's
do
got
have a
bird, it's
do
got
have a
bird
PK
shit on it
Ripper.
now.
There's the PK Ripper hanging
Yeah.
over in the ceiling there.
Okay.
There.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's
It's
sick.
it's not from
Yeah.
you, but it is a PK Ripper that we actually got from. He's the curator of the Tulsa Aquarium, and it was his personal PK Ripper. And it has, the coolest thing about it, it has G-Boy forks on it, which are like super rare.
That's not that cool.
No. He obviously he obviously
I'm sorry.
he obviously was always jumping into the aquarium because if you landed on dirt, those forks. All right, Silver Bullet. do you got?
gOrk knows probably more. I've got 2 jerseys behind in there somewhere. I can see one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gotta-
if you ever need one, Eric, I've got an extra jersey up there on the wall. We'll just put your name over the front of it.
Would you get it twice or something? You got 2 jerseys up there. You're hogging up the whole wall.
Exactly.
I know somebody
Well-
who knows somebody there, so I got 2 of them.
Yeah, right over my shoulder, right there. There's
Everybody loves Eddy King.
Oh
there's
yeah.
the wheels. Well, the thing is that the King brothers, so we had matching wheels and thing jerseys, and they're so small, that I could put 2 jerseys in one picture.
And that's what's above your right shoulder, eh, gOrk?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah, I
That's
see
really
it.
cool. I like those uniforms, by the way. Those wheels and things are kind of cool. I like those.
And
what
we got
do
a
you have
couple
of-
of
What do you have
number
of Eric
plates there, too.
Carter's? What do you have
Yeah.
of Eric Carter's in there?
Man.
See, there he goes again.
We do have a
Cooler.
here. Do you want me to travel? over?
Yes.
You got the cooler
You
helmet.
got the helmet, right?
Got my favorite thing in there.
Gosh, dude.
Oh, look how cool that is, though.
There it is.
Yep.
That's crazy looking.
Yeah. Get a
You
lot of
should have a
comments.
6-pack of Budweiser in their cans.
So bad, dude.
Like a tap handle in that.
I'll still swear by that helmet, man. Ugliest thing ever, but it was cheating. I could hear where everything was going on behind me, man. It was like crazy, dude. So good for that.
Well, gOrk, I struggle. When I finally got a jersey, I sent it to you, and I promise you, by the Hall of Fame this year, I'll have something very special to put in there.
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to you guys coming to visit him.
Yeah, well, we'll be there.
Got to talk
So
into making it.
Yeah, well, we're gonna kidnap you. I'm gonna put EC in my luggage, and JV's gonna take his jersey, and we'll come over there.
They're gonna kidnap me at my house and raid my kids' closet.
what big names are missing from your wall there? That are obviously Hall of Famers.
I just sent out a request to a lot of the people that, are missing their jerseys. Greg Esser is sending a Skyway one. So we've never had a Greg Esser up there. We don't even have a Skyway jersey up there. So I
Wow.
can get one from Andy Patterson as well. He didn't have a lot of the Hall of Famers, just don't have, like Mike, Hollywood didn't have, guys who
Yeah.
gave away all their stuff, that it's just like, Donnie Atherton, I was hitting him up as well, he's like, I just don't have anything, so, there's quite a few, maybe, say maybe 1/4 of the Hall of Famers don't have something.
Okay. Is it that they don't have it or they're hesitant to give it? You think?
Most of the time they don't have it. I'd say EC is one of the few that, I know it has this stuff.
Definitely has it.
He gave you the helmet.
I got a few. Yeah, I got a few jerseys, but I don't. You know what? I think I only have one Hutch jersey.
Yeah.
I think I only have one Hutch jersey that from back then. I think I got some hyper ones and some. I think I have a CW kit as well.
And I think over my shoulder we have Tim Judge. You can see the pants up here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see them.
Yeah, we have the Tim Judge and Harry Larry pants. We have Harry's jersey and we put the pants up there. But Tim Judge didn't have a jersey either. He sent us his JT pants because it was like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I can find. So
Well, they got the butt patch on them, so that's cool.
yeah.
gOrk,
so
what's been the worst thing you've got? Has somebody sent something in that's just rat infested or roached out?
I mean, everything's cool that we get, if it's authentic and, from that writer. But yeah, there's a few things that are just, yeah. It's all right, but yeah, I'm not going to call anybody out.
Hey, Gork,
I will.
Gork, do you remember what I gave you? What I gave you at first? You might not have even been with ABA at the time, and it got lost or somebody stole it.
Nah, I don't remember. What was that?
So in 1980, I went to Tokyo, Japan, and won this big race. And then at the Saddleback Nationals, Ernie Alexander gave me this big samurai sword. You know, so I donated the samurai sword to the Hall of Fame, and that was the last I ever saw of it.
Trying to think if
Somebody
that.
probably killed somebody with it. They had to hide the evidence, but yeah, that was
Yeah, it's in the evidence locker in Tulsa PD right now.
That's right.
It's evidence. Yeah, but that was a thing that I brought over to donate to the Hall
Here,
of Fame.
Gork, I'm going to donate a pink Pro Guard.
There you go. That's nice.
My samurai sword was better than that fucking thing.
No, this thing's Rochi. This is Rochi. I'll give you a used a half of a muscle power shake.
Now, up on this jersey wall behind me. So one of the coolest things that's up there is Steve Rink's jersey. You know, and it's actually not. It's Mark Darcy jacket. You know, but it's factory Powerlight jacket with a Powerlight jersey. But what's inside is little glass vial with Steve Rink's ashes.
Oh, that is cool.
How rad is that? You know,
that is pretty cool.
So Mark, you know, he really wanted, you know, his ashes up there in his dad's jersey case. So
that's
cool.
really
Cool.
Yeah.
And Darcy, how'd you do that?
Well, Darcy donated the jacket and the jersey to represent Powerlight up there.
Yeah, that's.
I bet Frank Post left some ashes there.
Yeah. If someone had a vial of something, it wouldn't be ashes.
Dude, I love telling the story about him putting his cigarette out in the dirt behind staging to get up in the gate to race pro. I was like, dang.
so good and so
So
bad.
that was back when it was Pioneer.
Isn't Jimmy Watson too?
Oh yeah, those guys are just puffing away. Oh,
Made
well,
you
Gordon,
fast.
yeah. Hey, I appreciate you guys coming on. It was fun talking about it. Like I said, just to let you know, we had talked about it, the Hall of Fame and some stuff that's missing and the who, what, and where prior to coming on. And it actually was started from a conversation we started having after talking to Cowboy. And so this seemed like it was a great subject to talk about because I don't think enough people know about the Hall of Fame or know how important it is to our sport and how much it means to some of us to be part of it. And what I really am intrigued about is what it takes to get somebody in there. To hear two of my greatest friends argue the way they do. Now listen, I'm friends with both Eddy and PK, and they both argue. They tell me their side, not again. Oh, and PK does this, and Eddy does this, and it's fantastic. I love it. But they're both articulate. They make a good argument. Even though it's opposite sides, they're good arguments. So I think those committees, my hat's off to them. Hats off to them.
So out of us 6 right here on the screen, let's go around each person who thinks, in that whatever category, who's the one guy that's missing that you think should be up there?
I'll go first.
I'll go.
Yeah, Garrett Deuce.
Oh man,
Garrett's already in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, then
that happens so. That happens so much that people call people out and don't realize that they're already in the Hall of Fame afterwards. After the fact. But with that being said, I'll put in Bobby Woods.
Oh, I'd say then if not him, it would be either Andy Ruffle or Roger Worsham.
Yeah, Roger would be a good one.
I like Andy Ruffle too.
Yep. I mean, I was thinking globally, right? Who's impacted the sport more globally?
But this is the USA BMX Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it the USA or is it USA BMX?
It is the National BMX Hall of Fame.
National. Well, that's true.
Mm.
Okay.
So Andy Ruffle, yeah, you know, I don't even, did he race much in US at all?
Didn't.
Or
I don't think
A
he did.
couple of times, but his
Well,
impact
I
on
met him
his
at
impact
Whistler.
on the sport, his impact on the sport globally because of all the work he did and all the times he was on BBC, which was that was televised all over the world, all over the all over the Commonwealth. That people all over the world found BMX through Andy Ruffle. So that's why I've always thought he's one of the most impactful people because how many people saw BMX because of his shows.
and he did a lot, but I don't know if he deserves to be in the National Hall of Fame. You know, in a-
Well, if US, I get.
definitely the British Hall of Fame, you know, which I think he's already in, isn't he?
Yeah. No, I don't think he is. I don't
He-
think he is. He's because he's been part of getting it going.
Oh, okay.
Well, then why would
Mm.
Garrett Deuce be in the Hall of Fame?
For everything that he did for the sport, you know, being the godfather of European BMX. He was Garrett got in under a special recognition. in the
Okay.
recognition category. He wasn't voted in by the people.
Oh yeah, I
But-
see him now. I pulled the list up so I could see it. Yep, got it.
Yeah, he made
And Roger Worsham.
Yeah, I think Rogers do. I mean, there's the industry category is the deepest one. You know, there's you know, if you talk about doubling up, we could go induct 2 industry people for the next 20 years and
Yeah.
still have
No,
a
It,
huge.
it would be hard for me to name a racer simply because I have so many friends that I would want to put in. And I have a couple that are deserving. And then a guy I think that, I have people I think that deserve to be in there that aren't in there.
Isn't that what we're talking about?
Yeah. I'm not naming them. I'm sure you guys will. Well, who's
I got-
next?
I don't know. I don't know who is and isn't in the Hall of Fame. I don't know it well enough. So I mean,
You're in it.
I do know that. No, I do know that. So for me to say who should and shouldn't be in it, I'd probably just be naming other names that are already in it. I don't know. JV, you go. Let me think about it for a little bit.
I'm sure there's an argument why he's not, but I think Paulson is the first one that comes to mind for me. Maybe because the pro thing that we were talking about before, he was a bigger amateur than anything with pro, but I don't know. His name was pretty big when I was younger, so that's one that I would.
I think I know PK's.
Okay, I'm torn between a couple, but you go ahead. Who you think is mine?
I think the late Rod Beckering, or
Well, that's from
from the heart, or my neighbor.
that's one of them. So the 2 guys, either Brian Ramazinski or Jimmy Watson, because none of you guys, maybe Eddie might have saw, but none of you guys saw how brutally fast those guys were and how good they were and how, I mean, you were just like, there was only so many guys that could battle with Dave Clinton and John George, at those times, and both of those guys did. And then there's one other that kind of goes into me, and this is more like looking at it not from my personal perspective, but from as a guy who came out of an area where BMX was not real big. And he may not have the wins, but he sure had a huge fan following, and that's Matt Harris.
Eddie,
What?
who would you? What?
I know
What?
what you guys are thinking too.
Yeah. What diamond bike riders would you like to see in there?
Oh, I got, Rich Farside for one, and then Brent Romero would be the other one.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought for.
I mean,
I
I know
for
if
sure
they're on,
JD.
if they were on the ballot, I know they would do some damage. They would take votes away from a lot of other people.
I thought for sure JV was going to say far side.
Is
Yeah.
is Danny Nelson in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Yep.
Under
He is.
Dan got in there.
Yeah. I mean, that guy's career was super long, right? Like, I mean, starting at such a young age and then going as far as he did. I can't think of,
Yeah.
I honestly can't think of another rider that achieved it at all the levels all the way through.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many riders that, they start off hot as an amateur and just get burned out.
Yeah.
Some
I mean,
people
it's,
get away.
yeah, it's super gnarly to be able to stay in it that long and it's crazy.
I think I agree with James on the on Mike Paulson, because he just got nominated last year. I think was the first year, and he was nominated, and definitely overlooked. But
Yeah, he's on the list.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so that's the thing is that guys, and I think Bobby Woods is one of the guys that gets kind of hurt by that because they're kind of what I would call a tweener. Like Mike Paulson wasn't really a super early racer. He was more of an 80s, going into that period. And I'm not sure how long his total career was for, I do remember him like everybody else. I mean, he was a pretty, a pretty big name rider. But again, that's a guy that's close enough to the pros that he should have, in my particular opinion, he should have done something in the pros to be able to, solidify that.
Mm.
And he really did concentrate on the ABA races, not NBL.
Well, I think it just depends on who they stack up against again, right?
Right.
Taken aside from results, you look at Mike Paulson and like what was that TV show, The Big Blue Marble or something? I mean, he had the backing of Schwinn, so there's a lot of extra promotional publicity stuff that he did as an amateur that are just talk like Andy Ruffle, he took it to the TV, took it to the next level. I think so did Paulson, and because he didn't have such a huge pro career, he is kind of overlooked, so.
Hey, are the riders have you guys pared it down to the list of 8 per category for this year?
No, not yet this year. No, we're just compiling all the, we got the nominee cutoff was at the end of January. So we have the list. It wasn't a huge, like last year we had some really good, Paulson got added, Bubba Harris got added, Maris Stromberg, there was a lot of good new nominees. There's a few good ones this year, but none that I can see being probably a first year, making it in.
Did Stromberg get in last year?
Yeah, he made the top 8.
But he didn't make it into the Hall of Fame.
No. Bubba Harris got in.
Yeah, that's worthy.
That class, that racer class is ridiculous. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just, it's almost like there's going to have to need to be, early, mid, recent, I'm not sure how long you need to be out of the sport before you could be eligible to be on, or if there is even any type of a rule against that.
There is. Tell him, JV. Tell him, JV.
My phone's restarting, but there is 5 years.
Good
Yeah.
excuse.
No, yeah, gOrk just hit it. It was 5 years. Yeah, we read it before.
5 years or over 40 years of age, I think.
Yep.
Or 200 pounds.
I was gonna say if the 8 were already separated, I think it could be a fun exercise for us to do. Obviously, Eddy and Perry can't go through it because they're on the committees, but
That's right.
myself, JV, and Hollywood aren't.
Yeah. Oh, I think having Eddy and PK on a pay-per-view argument here would be all right too. I'd pay to watch that.
Couple of beers deep would be good too.
Oh yeah.
We're too sober right now for this. But I will tell you one thing is like being Eddy and I being on a committee, once those 8 are on there, I can't go on and promote anybody. You know, I can't say, hey, why don't you vote for Jimmy Watson? Hey, why don't you vote for Brian Ramazinski? You know, or I can't do anything like that, and neither can, you know, or I. There's not a rule that says we can't. That's just a personal rule that I think that we need to abide by. And I think what would really be good, and again, it's easy for me to give gOrk, you know, extra jobs to do, but for then USA to BMX to really promote these guys, like, and let people know, like when Mark Wagner has been on there, you know, and Brian Ramazinski, they probably haven't even, you know, cracked the top 3. And that's really, you know, a shame, because people don't know, and unless their brother or a cousin or somebody is promoting them, people don't know them. You know, they know the 80s guys, they know like an Andy Patterson or a Clarence Perry or somebody, you know, maybe, you know, more recent that would have got on, you know, but they just don't know these early guys. So I think that there's some type of responsibility to have promotion, that everybody gets promoted, not just the bio. Because the bio is like, you should read, we get this list, and with this list, there's a bio with each one of them. You should read some of these bios. He kicked ass at every track he went to. I mean, that's literally their bio. Then there's another guy that lists, like, you know, he won the 3rd moto at the 79 Mongoose Grand National, right? You know, they go into that detail. So there needs to be some type, I believe, of, you know, something that's kind of standardized to promote these riders.
Yeah, I agree with that, PK. I think it should be, this is me assuming that it's not standardized. I don't know if it is or isn't, because I don't know the details of it. But yeah, I think there should be a checklist of things that go for the you know, it's like whatever that bio is going to be, right? And how are the bios created?
That's from the nominee list, and you know, it's all bullet points, you know, taken from either the stuff, mostly what the nominees, whoever nominated that, you know, there's a few people who nominate themselves, you know, there's no rules against that, you know.
Gotcha.
And then
And
there's
so basically if you're nominated, it's your self bio that you put in.
yeah, or the person who nominated you. Yeah.
You can nominate yourself?
Well, yeah, you can. Although most people that do, I'll bet you no one in the Hall of Fame that actually made it in nominated themselves.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's
I'm going to start nominating all kinds of fictitious people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've seen on Facebook, I've seen some guys that are like, that are legitimately posting like, oh man, you guys should nominate me for the Hall of Fame. Like, dude,
the best thing we got ever was this phone call from this guy in Colorado, and he just left this message to Shannon Gillette, and it's like the most classic, you know, message. All, you know, just talking about all these great Hall of Famers. You know, like Perry said, you know, everyone thinks it's the California Hall of Fame. Like, Colorado, man. You know, this guy. It was like, I think he called like 3 a.m, and you know, it was probably, you know,
He was having some of that Colorado Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
he just got done arguing with Eddy about it at a bar.
Yeah.
but yeah, it was hilarious. And, you know, naming all these Colorado guys.
Yeah. I don't envy your guys' position, man. I don't. I mean, it can't be easy. And especially, I mean, I do think it's very, I love that you guys are specific on your committees, that it's very detailed for, you know, your era. I think that's obviously smart. But yeah, like to Perry's, I don't know Brian. I didn't know Brian. It was before my time, man. I don't know anything about that guy. I know his name. And I know he was influential in our sport because I've heard his name be mentioned many, many times. I don't know anything else other than that. He's a name that was before me. That's all I know.
And that's pretty much what the pioneer or the early racer, you know, category is. What I would say to that, and you know, and we talked about this on our last committee thing, is like the people that, I guess, almost to qualify the voter, like to, like Eric, I don't know when you got on, at that point we probably had racer category and pioneer, because you got on with JP,
Yeah.
and JP, the pioneer of all pioneers.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
so your vote, Eric, in the racer category should be weighted heavier than mine.
Yeah.
My vote in the pioneer category should be weighted higher than yours.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Freestylers, and anybody that's, let's say, already in the Hall of Fame, should have some type of a weighted thing. And this is not to keep people out by any means. This is trying to because most people that I would say, I'll probably get myself in trouble just for saying this, but that are in the Hall of Fame really give a shit about it, right? Some more than others, but I think a lot of them do. And it's not like you try to keep certain people out, is you just want to make sure that when somebody comes in, you can say, hell yeah. Like this last one that came in, for the most part, just about everybody, I said, hell yeah, for them in there, and if everyone can say that, then okay, you've done your job. And I think that you're true to your sport, and you're true to whatever era category that person represents.
Right.
Something that PK brought up earlier was all the state Hall of Fames, and that's, we're trying to encourage that, and we're going to be working with a lot more of these state Hall of Fames. Like Texas has it totally dialed in, for the Texas State Hall of Fame. And Todd Huffman's starting a NorCal Hall of Fame. It's going to be part of Frogtown. And Florida, Alice Bixler in Florida, she's putting together, they're starting the Florida BMX Hall of Fame, which is going to be really cool as part of their 50-year anniversary over at Sarasota BMX. So there's a lot more, we got the whole list going, and going to be trying to reach out to, certain go-getters in each state that can put on, their state Hall of Fame, or, organize it. Nebraska already has one, Tim Lilithor put that on. So, there's a lot of, like Cash is doing the Oklahoma State Hall of Fame here. And then Cash also did the Georgia BMX Hall of Fame. So, because there's so many levels of riders, that it's like maybe they didn't make that national impact. They don't belong, or they haven't done enough to qualify, or, put them really at the top of the list for the National BMX Hall of Fame. But state-wise, they killed it in their state, so that's
yeah,
that's something that's I think we're going to see a lot more of.
I'm crushing it in the South Dakota Hall of Fame. Me and that one other guy that raced there one time.
You're in the Cajun Hall of Fame, pal.
Oh no, I'm in the BMXican. I'm in the BMXican Hall of Fame.
But gOrk, the one thing I think that realistically the Hall of Fame needs to look at is expanding the female category, because this last year you had an inductee that went in, and Gail Webb has done some great things for BMX, but that eliminated really a racer, and
but so women, it's not women's racer category, it's women,
Well, I guess you're right, but that's then that opens up a whole can of worms, like where you have guys have all this whole thing and women just get one category, So I would at least separate industry females from racer females. That's just.
But they should have a cook-off.
See, the good thing about you, Mike, is no matter what I say, you'll always take the freaking fall with a comment like that.
Yeah, well, see, that way, this is what you call the art of editing.
No.
Good God. Good night.
Oh my gosh. You're right. It is a female Hall of Fame, for female class, but I personally, I believe that it should be separated. There may not be as many, but they had to, say work twice as hard to get half as much, right? So.
I know what you're saying, PK.
Yeah, no, I get you. But not to try to justify, in the past, you look at the women Hall of Famers, yeah, the majority of them all been racers, but yeah, you had Wendy Osborne,
Yeah, she
can't,
got
can't deny that she did not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame
Oh, absolutely.
over a racer, and Gail Webb, guy, look at all that she's done,
Yeah.
and more on the freestyle. So she's
Yeah.
more of a woman freestyler, which is,
Yeah. Andy Patterson. Guy needed a haircut.
Like
Yeah,
another one for
But
the
yeah, I
cutting
think,
room floor there.
probably in the future, the main thing, like you said, we pay for, the expense of flying out each Hall of Famer,
Well, that's why in some cases, like especially like some of these old crusty guys that like way before Eric's time or whatever like that, some of those guys will have to get like maybe a special recognition where they get in, they have something in there's a recognition, but they're not paid for it to come out there and see that. But after a while, just like Eddie says, no one's going to, when you keep bringing more and more, modern day racers, you're just going to keep knocking some of these old guys out, that may, deserve to have something like that. You even have a guy, let's say like a Billy Wuda, he won a few races. There wasn't that many races at that time, but everybody had that one picture of him that was on the front cover of Bicycle Motocross News jumping at Yarnell. I mean, it's iconic, right? It's part of the history, so to even have that in there, hey, Billy Wuda, those famous, NBA racers from the early 70s, just a little thing in there. You don't need to pay for those people to come out and get even an award. Just, here's our list of achievements.
I think you don't want to have to bring them out, but yeah, there's, like Todd Huffman's had the conversation with us a bunch. He's always pushing, with all the Hall of Fame nominees who are no longer with us. It's like, the Howie Cohens or, the Sandy Finkelmans and, even racers, like Wood is no longer with us. Or, there's a lot of guys that are deserving, but it's kind of, should you do a mass induction of, those that have passed, just to kind of get them in there or, so that's been discussed as well. But
sure,
I think
sure.
the thing with the pioneer class, right, is like they're not making pioneers anymore. So like the racer class, dude, that is gnarly. It's actually really gnarly when you think about it, because it just keeps getting stacked on, right? Like more good guys that have accomplished a bunch of stuff. It just keeps getting stacked. So I could see, like, if you were in the racer category, and yeah, you may start getting like bumped down and like losing your shot at getting in there. But
Yeah, but at some point they're going to be pioneers.
well, yeah, I mean,
Well,
when
maybe so, and then it just keeps rolling the old crusty guys out there.
so is that, I mean, is that what happens? Like, because I guess it's because when I started, anything before me is pioneer, right? I guess that's how I look at it. But
well, it's not called pioneer category anymore. Originally it was, it was the pioneers, but it's
Early
now,
racer.
it's now
Early
early
racer,
racer.
gotcha.
Because,
And is that
80s guys in there, I mean, Jason Jensen got in there and, Doug Davis, we've had a lot of 80 guys, Andy Patterson, so the 80s guys, when they get in there, they kind of overtake the 70s dudes that no one's really, that not
Doug Davis got in as a racer category.
it's
I think.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was not a pioneer. He was a racer category.
so does the early racer category, is there a specific era on that, or is it like, well, now we're in 2031, so now the guys in the mid 90s are early racer, or now we're in 2041, now the 2005 racers become early.
Right now the racer category, Eric, is basically a AA main, that you would, have a tough time with, I mean, I think, I'm trying to think, I don't have the list of the carryovers, but like last year, it was, Bubba got the win, but Maris was in there. Dale Holmes was in there. Greg Romero. I think Jason Richardson's been up there to, it's
Matt Hayden.
yeah. And then Hayden, keeps getting in the top 2 or top 3 for the last few years. His time is coming, so, it's tough category, man.
That is a tough.
That's
So
tough.
when you start bringing on some of the newer guys that do that, you can only hold on. You can get second
Right.
and third and second and third, and next thing you know, you're off the thing, and next thing you know,
You're forgotten. You're forgotten almost.
And that's
Yeah.
what happens. That's
Yeah.
the way of the world.
yeah,
it's
you're
like-
right. It
so-
is.
so-
Yeah,
4 years. So 4 years from now, Connor Fields will be eligible for that racer category.
Right.
You're one and only U.S. gold medalist, in the Olympics, and a 3-time #1 pro. So,
How could that
Yep.
not be first year?
and that's a good thing. So that's almost kind of like, if you're not in before he gets on, I mean, he's probably
Yeah.
the only guy really that people could look at it and say he's for sure a first ballot Hall of Famer.
For
I
sure.
would guess.
yeah, probably. I mean, Bubba was a first year guy, kind of was, me personally, I was like rooting for him, being his old sponsor and stuff, but,
Oh,
all the credentials. Yeah, I didn't. Not on that
Oh.
Well
committee.
deserved. I mean,
But
dude,
he
that
was
guy was.
deserving. Yeah, he was deserving.
Bubba definitely a deserving guy and got in there first year. So
Dude, he was
Gork,
a badass.
Gork,
man.
Gork, are you
That guy
using the
won.
Dominion
That-
machines over there?
What's that?
Are you using the Dominion balloting machines over there?
No, dude, Bubba was a badass, dude. That guy, he was fast. He won a bunch. He won titles, but also, man, the way he raced, dude, that guy could come from behind like nobody's business. He was legit.
And he put on all those clinics too, didn't he?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing. Now it's kind of a coaching license and all this stuff, but I mean, he was doing it when it was.
Dude, that's another, and you know what?
Yeah.
That's another kid that he was fast I mean, he was winning nationals at like 10x, wasn't he?
That guy's a thoroughbred.
Thoroughbred. Yep.
Yeah, I think when he was like 10x, he was on that
Eddie's a
answer
thoroughbred,
team
too.
and winning nationals.
Yeah. Yep.
I had a
Or
good discussion
Sam-
with
Sam
Bill
Willoughby.
Ryan about.
Sam Willoughby will be coming up as well.
Dude.
I think how many years it's been since his injury, but even though he's Australian, but he's Americans have accepted him, and he did most of his racing here in the U.S. So
Well, GOrk, you posted those stats, and I commented on the stats that you posted, man. Sam's ratio of mains and wins is he just blows everybody else away.
no, isn't that crazy?
Like 50% of I think he's at like 50% of the mains he made, he won. And he was years ahead if you factor in like how many wins per year. I mean, this guy stays healthy, he destroys all records, man, like by a mile. So, I mean, I looked at the ratio part of what you posted, GOrk, and I was blown away, dude. That guy, he was lighting dudes up, man. Nobody could touch that guy.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then his wife is just as fast, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but can she cook?
One more for the cutting room floor.
And cut. Well, fellas, I
Well,
want to
wait,
thank
Eddie was
Oh.
gonna say something, I think, and then he was just about to say something.
Oh,
Yeah,
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, you know what? I had a
something
good
with Bill
discussion.
Ryan.
Yeah,
I
had
thought
a
it was
good
going to be
discussion
something with Diamondback.
No, that's it for another show. I did have a great discussion with Bill Ryan about Bubba Harris. And well, because we were at the Winter Nationals and Bubba did come by, and the Olympics was just before his time. If it would have been a little bit earlier, Bubba Harris could have been a really good representative for USA at the time.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there now, but it's just part of the discussion on
Oh, yeah.
there. And regarding Sam should be eligible. His injury was in wait, 12, 16. I
Yeah.
think it was 2016 or 17. So it's 5 years is up.
16, yeah.
Yeah.
You can nominate them next year.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
You
Right.
just put them on there.
Yeah.
And
Your
the fact
post
that
on
he's from
Facebook
Australia,
should nominate him.
and the fact that he's from Australia shouldn't matter.
No, he did it. I mean,
Yeah.
his-
I mean, look
yeah,
at
he
Bobby
was-
Encinas. There's a lot of people that, you know, like I said, there's a lot of people that are on here they're on the Hall of Fame that maybe got on for different circumstances. And again, I'm not naming any names, but as I was reading through them, I was like, wow. I'm kind of I'm excited to see that everyone's passionate about picking the right people, because I wonder how some of these people got on there. But as it gets tougher to get on, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tougher to have these conversations. So once again, I really appreciate the fact that you guys are so into it,
Yeah.
because it's good for us all to have a great Hall of Fame. We couldn't do it without you guys. So
yeah.
on behalf of all the dirty knobs, man, thank you guys for what you
Yeah.
did for
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Thanks for having me on, man.
All right.
All right,
All right,
fellas.
boys.
Yeah.
Great seeing you guys.
Do it
I
again
guess that's our
soon.
cue to get the hell off.
Yeah.
huh? Later, boys.
Yeah.
See you, PK.
We're
See you
looking
guys.
forward to this year's discussion, Eddie.
Oh yeah. Don't worry.
All right. See you guys.
You guys.
See ya.
So good.
Hey, thanks, gOrk. Thanks, everybody. It sounds like me, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not there, so my opinion is very different, because I just wonder about that. Like, you work all your life to, not all your life, your juvenile life, I guess, in a sport that you became successful, and you have something up there that's memorialized till the place burns down. Do you take it out of there?
That's a good question, man. That's a really good question.
So, JV, how are you attached to any one single piece of memorabilia? Super attached, like, oh my gosh, this is my thing. I would never get rid of this.
I don't think so.
See,
But I
So-
mean, if it was hanging in in a place that is with others, you know.
yeah, but I think he has your same mentality. That he's just not super attached to any of it.
No, he's not attached to it, but I mean, I think it's a little different if it's in a place that's like, you know.
I don't think that
And that's my guess.
I would venture. Well, I'll speak on my behalf.
Yeah.
I don't think it. I imagine it probably doesn't matter that much to him.
Well, and that's coming from a guy in the Hall of Fame
Right.
that hasn't given him anything for the Hall of Fame.
Right. I haven't.
Not a
No,
jerk.
they got your echo
every
helmet,
time,
right?
And they
Every
get
time-
mad. They're mad that I
oh,
don't.
gOrk is every time I talk to gOrk or Shannon, they mention it.
Yeah.
Wait, you have nothing in there? You have the echo helmet, right?
That's not. They.
Oh,
got
that's
that.
not it?
That's not my echo helmet.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah.
what they want is a jersey from
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah. And for me, JV, this is going to sound crazy. My kids want my jersey,
Yeah,
Right.
and that means more to me than putting it in there.
I get it.
Well, you know how it was, Mike. I will tell you, JV, before I got put into the Hall of Fame, before I got nominated and inducted, I truly could not care less about being in it. I really couldn't.
Yeah.
And when I was nominated and inducted, I learned that it was important, right? And my brother Mike here helped me understand that. And I did understand it when I was there. And when the announcement went out that I was inducted, and all the messages that I got from people that said, "Oh my gosh, you were such an inspiration," or "Oh my gosh, I loved racing you."
Right.
"Oh my gosh, I loved watching you race," right? Those things meant a lot. And that made me realize that, like, okay, now I understand it. Now I understand why I was inducted, because I affected a lot of people with what I did on my bike. I got that. But I don't know, man. It's a weird thing for me. I don't want or need I don't need a corner
Right.
with all of my stuff in there.
No,
to
I
feel
get
good
that.
about it. I don't
Right.
I don't, and that doesn't define me. It doesn't define me as a person. I'm not at Hall of Fame mindset, right? Like,
Right.
there's so many other things in my life that are so much bigger and important. And I don't, it's probably biggest moment, right? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah, of
because
course.
all of his work, all of his hard work that he dedicated his life to, it was validated. And so he doesn't have kids. So that's what he holds on to. And that's the most important thing. It's not,
I never thought of that. Never thought of that.
right.
Yeah.
So it's not that important to me to have all of my stuff in there so everybody can see, whoa, look how big I was. I don't need that. It doesn't matter that much to me. If I had a bunch of jerseys, like if I had 12 Hutch jerseys, I would give them one of my Hutch jerseys.
Right.
I don't have 12 Hutch jerseys, and my kid loves them, so he gets them.
Right.
So
Well, I totally get your perspective on it. Absolutely.
it is
So-
weird to me. It is weird to me, though. I will say, I do find it weird that they did give all that stuff, and then they went and said, "I want my shit back."
Yeah. I mean, what Stuart said to me, he says, "Hey, you know what? I just, I made sure that they understood it's only on loan, and I'll be getting stuff back."
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't mean much to you, and I think we can agree that the Hall of Fame is not just for the rider itself, but it's for the people that were inspired by those riders, right? So it's a little bit of both.
Hey, I want to correct you.
Yeah.
It does mean it. It didn't. I will say it didn't mean much to me. Once I was inducted, and I went through the ceremony, and I got the rib. I have a bigger appreciation for getting that honor bestowed on me,
Right.
and I have a bigger respect for it. But it doesn't change the things that I value most in my life, right? Like, which is my kids and my wife, whatever. And so,
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
And us.
yeah. Well,
Yeah. And
the people that
And
I
JV
love,
and JV and I, we want to be in there too.
yeah,
yeah. I
Well,
just want to be included.
Yeah. I
Okay.
want
All
to
right. No.
you guys
But-
understand, but I do, it's, I do care about it, JV, but I just don't, I'm not like,
You don't care enough to ship your stuff all the way over there.
I'm
And-
not
and-
desperate. I'm not
Yeah.
desperate I don't need the egos of like,
No.
here's all my stuff.
No. You're right. Right. So let me just throw this other side of it, because
Yep.
I hear what you're saying, but I just am interested to hear your thoughts on this. So, athletes from a long time ago, you go to like a museum and you see like something they wore, or the shoes that maybe one Olympic runner, the first Olympian that won a gold medal for whatever.
Baseball
If they
Hall-
never
base-
gave that, sorry,
Yeah. Baseball Hall of Fame.
Baseball Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
the
Cooperstown, it's amazing.
let's call it a Babe Ruth jersey, right? Just for the
Yeah.
shit, for the shit. If he never gave that jersey to, to there, it wouldn't be there. There would be nothing.
Right.
So, and go ahead.
And I'll add to that. And if it didn't go there, and it was only in some rich guy's safe or behind glass in some rich guy's, man cave, if you will, and nobody ever get to see it. That's a shame to me.
Right. This is what this is kind of where I'm leaning to, right? In different ways. It's not, and I get it, EC, and I am 100% with you. The family, and it's definitely number one. But let's go your kids have kids and they have kids. And BMX maybe is still around. There won't be anything Eric Carter up there.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
Maybe.
so now let me go one more. And mine's going to take a left turn here.
Yeah.
You have the stuff. Yes, I know. And nobody gets to see it or share it or enjoy it, except for Cole every once in a while, or me when I come over and ask him to show it to me. But it sure would look good hanging up in the sushi bar right behind you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because
you guys don't like the sushi.
Yeah, no, I'm just, no, it's not.
I love the sushi bar.
So do I. And our fans love it. It's the fact that, to James' point, sharing it with other people, and that's where you get to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying I'm not DC. I'm just giving a different side of it. I'm with you. Of course, I'm just also, my brain is thinking the other side of it. Like, on that thought, like,
I will tell you, JV, it tears at me a little bit, right? Because I understand the concept of it, of what you're saying, and there's tons of validity to what you're saying. It's not, it doesn't go. I think about it. I do think about it.
You're one of the best in the sport, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like that's a big deal.
But dude, it's crazy, JV. It isn't like.
Yeah,
I know it. No, it's not a big deal to you.
I know.
I'm just saying it's a big deal.
Yeah.
The weirdest.
It's not a big deal to you.
It isn't. It really isn't.
But you're one of the best trail builders, in the world. That is a big deal to you.
Yeah.
You are one of the best parents I've ever known. You set a phenomenal example on parenting. That's a big deal to you.
That's the most important thing in my life.
You're a semi-okay dog trainer. No, your wife is a phenomenal dog trainer.
Yes. One of the best.
One of the absolute best dog trainers ever.
Oh my gosh.
That means a lot.
It's a weird dynamic.
Well, please tell her I said that.
I will.
That dog is phenomenal.
It's a weird dynamic, JV. And I think, and the way you put it, it resonates a little bit, right? Because you use somebody like Babe Ruth, right? Look, I'm no Babe Ruth. I'm
Lou Gehrig then.
Yeah, one of those lessers, right? Like Babe Ruth is a Stu Thompson, right? Like, let's call it what it is. You guys are the true icons. I have a place there.
Yes,
for sure.
So absolutely.
But when you say it the way you said it, it resonates with me because, like you said, that stuff wouldn't be in there. And as time goes, it loses its place. I understand that.
And your great grandchildren aren't going to go to great grandpa Cole's closet.
They aren't. They aren't.
Or that shit could get lost.
Or a house fire, or that's the biggest fear is for a lot of people is they pass away and their kids
don't care. Yeah. I like it that Cole cares about it. I do.
Me too. I think it's great.
And Ethan does as well, but not as much as Cole.
Not to the same level as Cole.
No. Now, do you think
This could be by the way, this could be a podcast.
it may end up being one?
Yeah.
But
and I would entitle it, It's Just Stuff.
It's just stuff. Do you this is a bit controversial because when I went to Cooperstown, I was blown away. And that was a lot of years ago. I can only imagine what it's like now.
There you go.
Cooperstown was, I grew up playing on baseball as a kid. So I have my heroes. Pete Rose was my ultimate hero when I was a kid. Pete Rose and Evel Knievel were my two heroes. So ironically, Pete's not in baseball Hall of Fame.
No.
But being
Should be.
Yeah.
Arguably.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I get it, but he should be.
He's just the one that got caught.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I loved that, and I loved the way it was. Now I can't speak on the Hall of Fame now. I don't know what it's like since they've moved. I haven't been to it, so I can't say something about it. But when I saw the one in Chula Vista, I was like,
meh. I was like James. Eh.
Yeah.
It doesn't
hallway.
look the same
No.
to me.
It's
I never been to the Tulsa one, but I mean, still
The
pictures.
videos and the pictures look pretty impressive.
They look pretty good. Yeah.
have you been to none of you guys haven't been to the Tulsa one either?
No.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you guys feel that the current keepers of the flame are the best keepers of the flame for it?
Yes,
You do.
I do. They are. I do, because they're stepping up. Like it's like saying, is that guy the best track operator? Well, he's the one showing up.
Agree with that.
Yep.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah. And it does mean a lot to gOrk. It seems to mean a lot to gOrk.
I agree. gOrk's a lifer, dude.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So is he
he bleeds it.
Yes.
I feel like it's gOrk's true passion.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, gOrk
That's
is
not
it's
bad.
gOrk's
That's not-
thing, right?
Here's one thing about the Hall of Fame. They really don't recognize NBL people. They don't. Think about it.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know what to base that on. I don't know that they do or don't.
From a writer's standpoint, I mean, I guess you could say
I'm not saying they do or they don't. I don't have enough information to make that opinion. I don't know. Do they? Don't they? I don't know that.
yeah.
I mean,
I might look
it's
into that.
it's an extension of ABA BM, but it's
Well-
ABA extension, right?
That's
Well, but here's my point: is that, but it's not them. It's who's nominating and who's voting.
Yeah, true.
Because it's all yeah.
But it could
Right.
be. I mean, it could be. I would say certainly for the first 25 years, 20 years, they didn't,
It was the ABA BMX
because it was ABAs. Yeah,
it was the ABA BMX Hall of Fame.
correct. It was. I mean, it truly was.
It was.
And I could say that they don't recognize worldwide,
Yeah.
Right.
which is my, I'm just an Andy Ruffle fan. So, and
They
Garrett Deuce. I think Garrett Deuce is in though. He is in.
I hope so.
Yeah, he's got to be in.
Goodness. Talk about doing stuff for the sport.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I think internationally. I think he's number 2. I still say Andy Ruffle's number 1.
Should it be worldwide? It's USA BMX, right?
Yeah, does that mean that, that's like saying when it was the ABA, should they not have had NBL people in there?
I think it's well.
Oh,
I mean,
that's not the same.
that's actually a good question too.
Okay,
JB,
so you know what?
because
We need to stop because
not the
this
same.
is a great podcast. Stop. This could be a great pod. Let's stop now because this is a great podcast. I love it. Oh, I actually love it, and I have some opinions.
I mean,
And I'm
all
sure
right,
a
it
couple
does
of
say USA BMX though.
But you know what's crazy?
Does that mean that? Well, that's like saying the World Series. Are they the world champions?
No, that's different. This is USA
I gotta stop.
BMX.
I gotta stop.
I have it.
This is a good podcast. Good podcast.
I have it. One last thing.
Oh, see, one last thing.
See.
Okay, fellas.
All righty.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, boys.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, this is John Cruz. No, we're not having an earthquake. I have Parkinson's. What do you think of that, Michael?
We ought to pitch in and get you a gimbal.
That would be nice. But seriously, this is John Cruz, and I obviously have something going on, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 20 years ago this year, actually. So I've chosen the Phinney Foundation over the years to be my voice for Parkinson's. If you're not familiar with the Phinney Foundation, Phinney is one of the winningest cyclists in American history. He's the roadie. If you guys remember those roadies out there, all that Lycra and stuff. But he is just a great man. When he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, he decided to make a difference in people's lives. And his choice was to start a foundation. And that foundation obviously wishes for a cure for Parkinson's, because there is no cure at this time. But they recognize that you have to live with Parkinson's, and your caregivers are having to live and take care of us. And the Phinney Foundation, that's what they do, is they only look for a cure, but they look for ways to enhance the quality of life for Parkinson's sufferers and their caregivers. So I appreciate all of you supporting the Phinney Foundation. It certainly means a lot to me. I know we all have something, right? So I think it's important to give back to our communities, whether it's BMX or a foundation that's close to your heart. If you don't have one, please choose mine. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, John Cruz. You certainly have made a difference in a lot of lives, including mine, and giving us the opportunity to do something good for somebody else is fantastic. So thank you so much. And on behalf of John Cruz, please find a way to give something to the Phinney Foundation on behalf of John Cruz, the Dirty Knobs, and your entire BMX family. Thank you very much. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, you bunch of dirty knobs. So please do that. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Comment if you have anything to say. We'd love to hear it. And we will be back out here in 2 weeks with another one. And thanks to our sponsors. Speaking of which, we are going to read some commercials to you now. Thanks for showing our sponsors the love, because they're showing it to us. Thanks again, and we'll catch up to you soon. And then sing it out right now.
All right, coming live and direct from the Colt Clubhouse in Santa Ana, California. Come on down and get all your BMX needs. We're giving away free air for your tires. That's all I got, brother.
That's great. That's great. All right. Now.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Kinda, designed for your journey. On the road, on the trail, or on the racetrack, you can count on Kinda quality. Our tires are engineered for performance and value across a wide range of interest and applications. See why Kinda is the right choice. It's your move.
Imagine how bikes can lead to a healthier, more connected world. Bikes set us apart, free to explore and move and experience our relationships with people and places like nothing else can. At Ceres, we don't just imagine a more bikeable world, we're all in.
making it happen.
SR Sun Tour shares your passion of cycling. We are committed to giving you the highest level of service in the industry, along with products that hopefully will exceed your expectations. Serving riders is the cornerstone of our business, and we pride ourselves in doing it.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Velocity Bike Park is the premier bike park for riders in Southern California, with 25 miles of world-class trails, obstacles, flow track, and races for mountain biking, gravel, and BMX.
Ultramax, when you get home from the races, do you feel dirty? I mean, is your bike dirty? Really dirty? I know you're dirty. Well, that's when you need the Ultramax sponge, guaranteed to get all your hard to reach places clean. I know, because Hollywood is always dirty. Not available where reading glasses and bobbleheads are sold, but you can still get an Ultramax t-shirt at dirtyknobs.com.
Hi everybody, Toby Henderson, founder of Box, co-founder of American BMX Companies, the owner of Race Inc., Botima, and Cook Brothers Racing. We brought these two companies together to bring you the best quality product you can get for a BMX bike. We're all about the rider, so please check out our Level Up and Rider First programs. See you at the track.
ODI Grips, the world leader in grip technology, home of the lock-on grip system. Check them out over at www.odigrips.com. 4416 Designs commercial, take one.
There you go. All right, 4416 Designs. We make shirts, but we don't sell them. We're just giving back to the sport. If you're out at Ukaipa BMX and you need a shirt, hit me up. I'll hook you up with one.
Yeah, I love that. Mega Design Group is a full-service marketing firm. They handle everything from logos to advertising to packaging. Having over 25 years experience in the print and marketing fields, they can handle any hurdle. Check it out at megadesigngroup.com.
Carbone Cartel, for the finest carbon BMX racing products in the market. Make sure you check us out at carbonecartelbmx.com. Our products are ridden by the best in the sport. Drew Polk, Nick Long, and many, many more. This isn't the cheap shit you get from Ali Bobbitt. Make sure you check us out again at carbonecartelbmx.com.
Cool Stop Brake Pads. High performance bicycle brake pads since 1977. Check them out at coolstop.com. That's KOOLSTOP.com. Supercross BMX. What can we say? Our lives revolve around BMX. Founded in 1989 to build the ultimate BMX race frame, they've never strayed from that vision. Hey, for more details, check it out at supercrossbmx.com.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Wilson with ProGate. We are the official gate supplier for UCI and the Olympics. We even make a gate that you can practice on in your driveway at home.
Wait a minute, who else are you making a gate for?
We're making a gate for Dirty Fest. You guys got to come and check it out. Whatever Dirty Fest needs for this track, we're going to supply it. We're not some French knockoff, you know. We're the gold standard in BMX gates. And make sure to check us out at progate.net and bmxtracksupply.com, and we'll see you at Dirty Fest for sure. Take care, everybody.
Hey, folks, this is Mike Rodriguez, a.k.a. Mr. Crit. I've been racing and making number plates since 1980. You know, like when they used to do one-pedal starts. But, you know, Crit Plate has been around for 43 years. The last 4 decades, the who's who of BMX have raced the crit number plate straight to the handlebars. And you get that guy Mike Savage, the international man of BMX, still doing it strong. And back in the day, the plates used to be reversible because there was multiple sanctions, and you could put one sanction on one side, one on the other. Now you just got one, but crit is still reversible, and that logo is still on the back for guys like Mike and your rad guys, like Mike Miranda, who would turn those handlebars and twist them up. And we got it rad just for you.
All right. Hey, where will we see those plates?
Those plates you can see at every single bike shop that stocks BMX stuff in the USA and Canada.
And where will you be at? Will you be at an event sometime soon?
Damn, I'm sponsoring the Dirty Fest, and I can't wait to come out to Southern California and get dirty.
Amy grips, still made here in the USA. Used by world champions like me, Tommy Brackens. If you want to know more about the best grips on earth, go to amy.com.
If you have a Senna cycling helmet, you know what it's like to ride connected. Senna got their start in communications for the motorcycling industry, where they're now a leader. Senna brought their same tech that goes into those helmet-to-helmet motorcycle communication systems into cycling helmets. Senna bike helmets have an integrated microphone and 2 speakers hidden right into the shell. Senna helmets connect together on a mesh or Bluetooth network so you can talk to your friends while you ride without shouting over wind noise, even if you're not side by side. That's super cool, especially in the trails. Senna helmets also pair with smartphones, so you can listen to your playlist without blocking out ambient noise, and you can take phone calls and even hear turn-by-turn GPS directions.
Ready?
And that's going in.
Yeah. We need a doing. All right.
What's your nickname for like on the mic? Do you have a?
No.
You don't have?
I don't really have a nickname. It's Mike.
Oh.
Just Mike on the mic.
Into my app.
That's,
She got one.
That's getting edited.
Yeah.
We're putting that in.
Hi, I'm Mike Miller, author of Day One by Michael Miller. And a special offer going out. Anybody who buys the book between now and Dirty Fest, which is April 28th through 30th, I'm going to take all the money from the book and send it to the Phinney Foundation for those with Parkinson's. So get your copy on Amazon.com and we'll make a donation.
Hey, what was the name of that book again?
Day One by Michael Miller, which is me.
I'm sorry. Hey, what was that name again?
Day One by Michael Miller.
Hey, support the podcasts that support us, our friends. The fine folks over there at All Things BMX, which is our favorite Wednesday night live podcast, as you know. Our buddies over there at Beer Budget BMX, Big Bike BMX, and BMX Weekly. Check them out. Check them out. Our friends.
What's up, everybody? It's your friend Isaac from Big Bike BMX, and I've got a podcast with my best friend, 80s BMX Craig.
Yep. And guess what, you guys? If you have enjoyed your time here on the Dirty Knobs podcast, we'd love for you guys to come over and hang out with us at Big Bike BMX, where we've got all your old school legends and BMX from the past and today at Big Bike BMX. Isaac,
come check us out. We'd love the opportunity to win you over. And if not, hey, it's just another place to talk about BMX with your grimy friends. It's fun.
Hey, Dale Holmes, I want to tell you something. One of my favorite podcasts that I never miss is BMX Weekly. Even though it has an accent, I still love it.
Cheers, Mike. You can get all the podcasts on bmxweekly.com. Old school, mid school, today's school. Check it out.
Yeah, BMX Weekly.
Hey, here we go. Hey, Beer Budget BMX, baby. Coming at you live from the Beer Budget studios over here at the Hack Shack Quarantine. Oh, man, we're coming in hotter than Satan's nutsack. Yeah, we are dirtier than an Alabama strip club where reclass pros go and get lap dances by their half-sister. Yeah, the only show that'll make you second-guess your life choices like a Amish on an e-bike.
Hey, if you guys enjoy what you just listened to, make sure you tune in every Wednesday night to the All Things BMX show, the only live streaming podcast show in the game right now. Even ask Mike. He's been on. Vicente's been on. Still waiting for that other guy to come on the show. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And you can also find us at allthingsbmxshow.com.
Keep it dirty.
Look, how'd that go? Hold on.
That's real, right?
That's, I can't tell you if it's real or not. I don't have a pen.
Well, I have his license plate.
Okay. he sold some helmets. He goes, "That's real, isn't it?" Like,
Just hold it. You see
I
the
don't-
strip in the middle?
I
Hold it
do.
up to the light.
Yeah, it's real.
Hey, a little late to be asking that question.
Exactly.
Dude, he pulled out of his wallet, and I was like, "This thing looks a little funky, and it feels a little."
Oh,
terrible, terrible.
Terrible.
Is this still recording? This better not ever get out.
This guy over here. Jeez.